All right, obviously, yesterday we talked a ton of college football, and we had a doubleheader on Monday night, including a shootout between the Seahawks and the Lions. If you are a Seahawk fan, how are you feeling today? I mean, you start off the season 3-1, right? And this used to be kind of that check-in. Now that they went to 17 games, it's no longer the quarter pole, as they say, old horse racing term. But still, 4 or 5 games in, kind of have that first check-in of the season. And if you're a Seahawk fan, you're 4-1. Now, you go back to last night's game, and the thing that has been serving you pretty well this season has been your defense, and you gave up 42 points to the Lions, and Jared Goff did not throw an interception yesterday. But on the other hand, you went on the road to Detroit, and Geno went for 395. Now, he threw a pick. Pick was at the end. It was kind of desperation time, but
he cooked. He threw for a lot of yards.
I'm watching this game, and, we've talked a lot about how I think Geno Smith is a good quarterback. Don't know if he's a great quarterback. Don't know if but I'm watching the game. I'm like, Geno's kind of good. And so I'm just wondering, 3-1 on the season. Let's play our game. Seattle Seahawks, are they good? Kenneth Walker looked like he came back ready to be a factor. If not for fumble by DK, some dumb penalties, one by DK again. See, here's the problem, right? DK Metcalf, 7 catches, 104 yards, but also had a costly fumble, had a costly holding penalty that delayed and I believe ended a drive. I think he caught the 2-point conversion, to be perfectly honest, but regardless, and there were some tough calls, but when Jared Goff goes 18 of 18, like at some point defensively, you got to disrupt the guy. You know what I mean? Like, this guy has not missed. So Seattle Seahawks, are they good? I think they're good. I do. I still think the Seahawks are good.
Yeah.
I don't think they can win the Super Bowl. I don't know if they're going to beat the 49ers in that division, but I think they're good.
Yeah, I think they are too.
I will say Geno's playing better than I thought. And maybe it's because he's got a lot of weapons, and maybe it's because Ryan Grubb and him, they figured some things out, and maybe a new voice and everything else. But
are you saying him and Ryan Grubb fit better together than peas and carrots, Justin? Classical reference.
Here's the problem with that reference, though. I hate peas and carrots. I like carrots. I don't like them with peas.
That's fair. I don't really like them either.
But I get the reference.
Quality.
Like,
yeah. You know me, I'm a reference guy.
Forrest Gump, right? Yeah. But I don't like peas and carrots together.
The references from that movie, Justin, are off the charts. And this is my quick little aside. One that everybody at home should be still laughing at to this day is literally when it's, I never went back to work for Lieutenant Dan. He got me invested in some fruit company.
There you go.
And they told me we don't got to worry about money no more. So, Justin, wouldn't that be nice?
Would have been nice. All right.
Anywho, back to your point.
Back to, are they good?
Yes.
Are the Chiefs good? They are. Look, they're the defending champions. They have Patrick Mahomes on the team. They're 4-0. Isn't it funny? Like, we grade the Chiefs on such a different curve than we grade anybody else on. And I think the Chiefs have now graduated to the point where, unless you are a fan, you have become sick of them. And I understand why. Look, Travis Kelce was everywhere, both during the season and the offseason. Patrick Mahomes is everywhere. The fact that Travis Kelce's girlfriend and Patrick Mahomes' wife have become part of the election, I get it.
It'll be a non-starter after November, Justin.
No, if only that were true. But that's like the Chiefs have now graduated to the point where the Patriots were before, where the Cowboys were before that in the 90s, where it's just like we're kind of sick of them. I'm not, but I can understand why we would grade them on a different level. But Travis Kelce, who a lot of people were like, oh, he's been partying with Taylor Swift all summer. I mean, no wonder he's 7 catches, 89 yards. He's back. He's perfectly fine. They're 4-0. They know this is the problem that I don't know if most NFL average Joe fans, not the fans in this listening audience, because you guys are super smart, but I don't know if most average Joe fans quite understand this. And I didn't for a long time, and I learned it when I was able to cover an NFL team. When you have a team that is full of veterans, as the Chiefs are, Tom Brady was a master at this. The NFL schedule and games become a puzzle. And it's just, how do we piece it together to where it's like, yep, I got to do this, this, and this. That's how we get a win today. And that's all they worry about. And when you have a veteran team, games just become a puzzle. And then divisions become like a puzzle. And, okay, all we got to do is we win this amount of games. And if we take a couple losses here, whereas as fans, it's like, oh, you can't ever take a loss. Is that an indictment? It's like, no, it's a puzzle. They know, the Chiefs know, they'll be fine by December. They're always fine by December. Now, Reese Rice,
Some optimism there. They think that
he might not be an ACL.
Well, they said now next week. So I don't.
Well, that clearly isn't an ACL.
Yeah. Well, next week they'll know more.
Oh,
next.
gotcha.
So that was surprising. So maybe swelling in the, hard to say. I'm not a doctor.
But we're established.
Yes, but that
neither you nor I are doctors.
No, we tried to be 4 years ago.
I did not. I did not. I stayed away.
I meant we more as a general public of the people, Justin. I think there were.
Well, it seems all the stuff just changes now. We went from being infectious disease experts to like mental health experts, and either way, the Chiefs are good.
And now we're political experts.
Chiefs are fine.
Back to the Chiefs. Just a couple points on them real quick. Losing Rashee Rice, if they do for the year, that's huge. He was going to be their number one pick. They already lost Hollywood Brown for most of the regular season with an injury. Isaiah Pacheco's already on IR. It's so bad that they brought back Kareem Hunt, the guy that they kicked off the team
because he didn't know the formations.
Oh, no, he was the.
Didn't he line up offsides like twice? He didn't know the formations.
Well, that and you remember why?
And then he had the huge drop.
Yeah, and then you remember why he got kicked off the team years and years ago for the whole.
Was it a driving thing?
No, it was something to do with. Was it domestic?
It's bad
something or other. I don't want to say without looking it up, and I don't have it in front of me. But it was something bad. But nevertheless, he's back. Justin, you can't count out the new GOAT. And I say the new GOAT because, like you said with Tom Brady, Tom Brady won a Super Bowl one year with Julian Edelman, Chris Hogan, and Philip Dorsett as his receivers. Chris Hogan was a lacrosse player. Philip Dorsett is out of the league. Julian Edelman, nice player. Give you that.
He's good.
But
he's got a cool podcast.
He does. But, Kelsey can still. So as long as Mahomes has Kelsey,
that's like
he
I said,
will always have a chance. And
it's
Andy
a puzzle to him.
Yeah, and Andy Reid.
And you have those two guys. Also, by the way, hey, 4-0, in case anybody's wondering. But we grade them on such a curve because it hasn't been aesthetically pleasing. Speaking of 4-0.
You're right. It has been 27, 26, 22, 17. That's not Chiefs numbers.
No, but they don't care because they know that by December they're going to be just fine. All right. Are the Vikings good?
They are. Sam Darnold career resurgence, baby, and I'm here for it. It's so cool to see.
I heard this somewhere, and it's an interesting theory. Because we start playing quarterbacks so early, have you noticed, looking at some of the good quarterbacks, Geno Smith, Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield, even Justin Fields, they lost, but even Justin Fields, what do a lot of quarterbacks that are actually playing well right now
retreads
have in common? They were booted out of town because they started playing them way too early. Sam Darnold should not have been playing for the Jets his rookie year, right? Remember then they had the mono thing, and what a tough way to go out. He missed 4 games because of mono. And then there was I'm seeing ghosts out there on Monday Night Football, and then the Jets fans just turned on him because he was a kid. Cleveland booted Baker Mayfield right out of town, regardless of what he said about Tom Brady.
And then gave some.
The Bucs are 3-1, and he went for 347. Baker's good, Geno's good, Darnold's good. I don't know if Justin Fields is good. He was good in the second half, gave me hope, but just look at the amount of quarterbacks that were drafted high, maybe thrown out there way too early, booted out of town, and now they're playing good football. It's an interesting phenomenon going on in the NFL right now, and Sam Darnold is kind of first and foremost on that front because the Vikings are 4-0. They're good. I think they're good. Kevin O'Connell's back.
I don't think he ever left, Justin. This was the same quarterback whisperer that got the best out of Kirk Cousins, comes out of the McVay tree. Yeah. And it makes Sam Darnold look a lot better. Like, I'll say this. Throwing in Justin Jefferson's going to make everybody look better, period. Like
it really helps.
Like that.
It really does. And Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield and all these guys are learning, and they learn in the NFL, hey, go where your bread is buttered. It's Kirk Cousins 2 years ago. Kirk Cousins had that season 2 years ago. It's because it's like he's been in the league for so long. They booted him out of Washington, and he's like, you know what I can do? I can throw to Justin Jefferson every single time I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
When I'm in trouble, I throw the ball his way. And you know what? I may go down throwing picks, but I'm not going to go down throwing picks to my third receiver. I'm going to go down throwing to my number one guy. And these guys are figuring it out.
And I'll get the Falcons to give me $120 million guaranteed off of this.
A lot of money.
Yeah. But yes, great point.
But yeah, you get these retreads are all, not all of them, but
yeah,
a good chunk of them. And it makes you wonder, like, obviously Jaden Daniels. All right, this is not not hyperbole, but are the Commanders are good because Jaden Daniels is good. Is he going to hit a wall or is he going to be the next C.J. Stroud? Who knows?
With running like that, I don't think Stroud like Stroud didn't take hits, Justin. You know this.
No, he used his legs to buy time and throw the ball down the field, and
I just think he'll be dinged up. He might hit a little bit of a wall as the year goes on, but we saw Russell Wilson make it as a rookie.
Russell ran a lot.
He did.
Now, it wasn't a lot of designed runs, and I will say what Russell was very good at when he was in Seattle was he knew how to slide, and I don't know if Jaden Daniels has quite figured out how to slide.
Not the baseball on him? Not the baseball on him?
If you asked Russell, he would tell you absolutely. I think it was more career preservation, which is good. All right. Who's going to be next on our are they good? Are the Buccaneers good? Are they good? They're 3-1. Baker looks good.
I like that team.
They beat the dog out of the Eagles, which, by the way, start paying attention to the Eagles.
Nick Sirianni is...
Start seeing crack. I don't want to... Like, I get as many takes wrong as I get right, but I said back in the summer, I go, I think the Eagles might fall off. You look at the way they ended last year. They lose locker room guys. There's a rift between head coach and quarterback. Apparently, there's still a rift because didn't Jalen Hurts come out and be like, we have our moments. I don't know.
Yes.
I don't
think it's as bad as Aaron Rodgers and Robert Saleh, though.
That's not good.
No. That's when Rodgers like, well, someone needs to be accountable. Ooh. Yeah. Well, again, when your quarterback is older than your head coach, that's a problem in some respects. So,
All right, so let's talk about the Jets real quick.
Yeah, let's do it.
The Jets are 2-2. They just lost to the Denver Broncos, and I love Bo Nix, and I like when Bo Nix wins games, but he threw for 60 yards, okay? He threw for 60 yards.
There was a time when he had negative 15 passing yards in the first half. I know that because I was watching that game at Buffalo, and negative.
He threw for 60
Scott
yards.
Hansen comes out, he goes, yes, folks, you're not looking at that wrong. Bo Nix has negative 15 passing yards on 7 attempts.
And Aaron Rodgers,
I don't know how that's possible, but he figured it out.
Throws for 225, thinks he puts him in a position. They get, I don't know if it was part of the weather stuff that was going on in the southeast part of the country, but the weather looked absolutely miserable in that game. But so here's what's funny. Like the Broncos are 2-2, feeling pretty good about themselves at 2-2. The Jets are 2-2, and they are freaking out. And if there is, in fact, a rift between head coach and quarterback, Brendan, who wins that battle? Who wins that battle?
Aaron Rodgers. The Jets, Rodgers, without a doubt.
He's only going to play for 2 more years?
Without a doubt, it's Rodgers. Because Robert Saleh's had a moment. And they've even said, hey, Robert, Aaron Rodgers, it was before Rodgers 2 years, I believe.
You ready for my favorite game? You want to look at the Jets schedule?
Sure.
Vikings next week. Vikings are 4-0. Now, it might be time. Is that a Thursday night game? I think so. Yeah. That might be. What's the date today?
First?
No, it's not Thursday night. My fault. So they got the Vikings next week. then the Bills, then to the Steelers. What if they go 1-2? That puts them at 3-4. Then they get the Patriots, 4-4. Texans. I mean, if they go 0-3 in the Vikings, Bills, and the Steelers, which they very much could because they go to Pittsburgh, and the Vikings are 4-0, and the Bills, I know the Bills got it put on them by the Ravens. Oh, the Ravens are good. The Ravens are good again. What if they go 0-3 in these next 3 weeks? Like, do they start talking coaching change? Is that nuts to think about?
It's possible. I think the offense is going to get figured out because that defense is elite. Again, when you got guys like Sauce Gardner, like that defense for 2 years now has been elite. That defense was.
I'm with you. Like I said, the defense did their job.
They did.
Bo Nix threw for 60 yards.
So I think
the Broncos put up 10 points. Like Aaron Rodgers can't.
Like they'll figure it out. Like that game was weird, right? They have one of the best running backs in football in Breece Hall, and I think he had like 5 yards, right?
Do you chalk that? Is that just like it's a weather game? What are you going to do?
A little bit. And here's the crazy thing, Justin. Statistically speaking, do you know who has the number 1 defense in the NFL right now?
It was the Steelers until Joe Flacco just ruined my Sunday.
Denver
And then
Broncos.
some driver in Sherwood continued to ruin my Sunday.
Well, I apologize.
Not your fault.
But
I
the Denver
I don't believe they even live in Sherwood, to be perfectly honest. I think they were just passing through like I was. But anyways.
But the Broncos.
Broncos, number 1 defense, huh?
It's been, they've sacked, you wouldn't have expected it from a Sean Payton team, right? And very quietly, you're like, how are the Broncos 2-2 with, respectfully, Justin, Bo Nix not playing very well? He's been up and down, but mostly down so far. And you're like, yeah, their defense has been nasty. And that game right there, that defense won them that game.
Mm-hmm.
So it's possible they ran into a really good defense. I still believe in Aaron Rodgers. I do. I don't think, say what you will about his personality and persona and all that, you know, but as a purely talented player, I still believe in what he can do. So I think they'll figure it out more so than like the other side of the coin, who we were talking about, the, who they just play?
They just played the Broncos.
The Broncos, who they're not a good team. I know they're 2-2. I don't think that they're good.
They're rebuilding.
Right.
That's why that's why they're starting a rookie quarterback. But Bo's won 2 games in a row. Talked about Jaden Daniels a little bit. Let's get back into rookie quarterback as the Bears get a win. Bears beat the Rams. Caleb Williams still threw for 17-23, $157. Didn't turn the ball over, so that's good for Caleb Williams. But is Caleb Williams he's not going to be Bryce Young, but is Caleb Williams going to really suffer from the fact that Jaden Daniels might win Rookie of the Year and he was drafted behind him? And how much is that going to be just kind of a cloud hanging over that pick for a long, long time? But
it's funny because
I don't think the Bears are good.
Because Justin, it's a life is long and careers are long, but you didn't buy into Jaden Daniels.
I didn't. I was wrong. I was wrong on that one.
Yeah, you didn't buy into him at LSU. I remember you were very upset when he won.
That's more of my love for Bo and wanting Bo to win the Heisman.
You were very upset when he won the Heisman. You were
very upset.
You were upset. And now
a lot of money I could have won.
And in hindsight,
I thought after that Civil War game, I'm like, I got this. And then Kalen DeBoer and Michael Penix ruined it for me.
But yeah, he looks good.
He does.
Again,
I was wrong on that one.
But RG3 looked good too. And he was running.
It's different. It feels because he's also throwing the ball.
That's true.
Incredibly well.
I mean,
that Monday night throw to the corner to Terry McLaurin last week. That's a 5th-year veteran throw.
Big time throw. Yeah.
Unbelievable. Real quick, just a couple. Are the Ravens good?
Yeah.
Is Derrick Henry back, or was this? I mentioned it yesterday. Is this a Toby Keith? I ain't as good as I once was, but I'm good once.
I don't think
as I ever was. Maybe it's just a little like, hey, Derrick Henry's back, and it's like,
maybe if you rush for 100 yards, not 200. I think that's a bigger problem.
199 is really good.
I think that's a bigger problem. That's really hard to do in the NFL.
That's really God.
I'm just saying.
I think the Ravens might be good. I was really wanting the Ravens to be bad. I was really hoping that the Ravens and the Bengals, we know the Browns are bad. I was like, are the Ravens and the Bengals going to be bad?
Bengals might be bad too.
Bengals might be bad. But the Ravens, they're not bad.
King Henry turning back the clock,
They're
man.
not bad. All right, coming up next, we will go on campus. We got some rankings. We got some other college football. Can we get through a day and not do conference realignment? Can we get through a day? We go on campus next. 620 Rip City Radio. All right. In about 20 minutes, we're going to talk about Pete Rose. Pete Rose passed away yesterday, and the legacy of Pete Rose is fascinating. Fascinating. Some may say controversial. I say fascinating because I work in sports media, and for 30 years or more, the Pete Rose Hall of Fame debate went on forever. So we're going to talk about the baseball legacy of Pete Rose, the betting legacy of Pete Rose. Is there hypocrisy in the legacy of Pete Rose, considering the amount of gambling that is now currently going on? We talk about certain players that grew up at the wrong time, in the wrong era. So I have some thoughts as Pete Rose passed away yesterday, and who knows? Probably not. But with the passing of Pete Rose, does also the passing of the should Pete Rose make it into the Hall of Fame debate, does it also go away? Probably not. So that's going to be coming up on the other side. And we're going to hear from head coach Chauncey Billups of your Portland Trailblazers from yesterday's Media Day availability. So we'll talk to Chauncey Billups coming up in hour number 2 as well. But there is some more college football to discuss as Oregon heads back home to face a familiar foe in the head coach of Michigan State, and also Oregon State now. They get ready to welcome in the Rams of Colorado State, their new Pac-12 partners.
I wonder what it's going to be like for a certain coach who's going to be in a same post-game tent off to the side of Autzen Stadium.
Probably not as cold.
Probably after getting blown out again.
Yeah.
Seems to be a very common occurrence for him there. So
games have been weird this year.
Just a thought.
All right. Let's get on campus right now. Okay. Sounds like UTEP is in now conversations with the Mountain West. I thought UTEP would be one of the, in case of emergency, break glass for the Pac-12 to get to 8 teams. Pac-12 seems to be now on the outside looking in. Who knows where that's going to end up. But there's another thing going on in Nashville, Tennessee right now that if you love college football like me, you should know that it is massively significant. Now, what on earth is going on in Nashville, Tennessee, you ask? Well, the Big Ten and the SEC have a group of athletic directors and presidents and chancellors that are meeting in Nashville to discuss scheduling partnerships. Now, when they say to discuss scheduling partnership, here's what you have to understand. Scheduling partnership means how do we find a way to put more of our teams in the college football playoff? As I've mentioned before with the NFL, don't mess with the NFL. The NBA learned this lesson the hard way because the NFL has 2 games on Christmas Day on Netflix, and they're going to dominate what used to be the NBA's day. NBA learned that the hard. Don't mess with the NFL. NASCAR is going to learn about don't mess with the NFL because Daytona 500 may have to be moved because they may be moving the Super Bowl to win the normal.
I'll say this.
To when they move the normal. So they learn don't mess with the NFL.
That's even the one NASCAR race that I would tune into, Justin, as a pure casual if it's just on TV. Like, you know,
but you wouldn't watch it if it was Super Bowl Sunday.
No,
maybe a couple laps.
No, well, I guess it depends who's playing, right? There have been years I've been a lot less interested in Super Bowls than others.
I'm usually making food or something. But NFL is a big bully on the block. And why do I bring that up? The Big Ten and the SEC, right now, they haven't flexed their muscle, but they are the big bully on the block in college football. And they know what the rest of college football knows, and that I know and you know, but they do not want to say out loud. This is the cold, hard truth. I don't know if it will ever get to this, but it is in the back pocket of the SEC and the Big Ten. And what is the cold, hard truth? That if they wanted to, they go off on their own and they run their own championship. And they would make all the money. And they could break off from the NCAA and they could break off from the rest of college football if they wanted to. The Big 12 and the ACC are fine conferences, but they are still teetering. They are nowhere close to the Big 10 and the SEC, and I don't say that as an Oregon fan. I say that as a realist. So what other things are they proposing other than a scheduling partnership? Oh, you got to go down 4 paragraphs. More automatic bids to the upcoming college football playoff. That's right. The muscles are now starting to flex in the SEC and the Big Ten, going like, Brendan, you like Tulsa King. I watched episode 3 last night.
I haven't got there yet.
Okay. This isn't going to spoil anything because it's almost like, it's, that mob mentality of like, it's a nice little story you got here. It'd be a shame if anything happened. I shall offer you protection, and you're going to give me a cut.
Yep.
That's what the SEC and the Big Ten are doing. Well, they're not doing it yet, but they're talking about it.
So you're saying
the SEC and the Big Ten are going to walk up to the rest of college football and go like, yeah, we're going to need 2 more spots, guaranteed. And for that, we will allow you to keep playing in our playoff.
They're rocking the Dwight Man Freddie across college football, man.
They really are.
It's true. It's just like
yeah. So you know how we get 2 automatic? We're going to need 4. But automatic. And we're going to get a couple more on a wild card.
What's their threat, though? Like how Dwight's like, I'll beat you up. Like, what's their threat? You know what I mean?
We do our own championship.
Is that really possible?
100%. What's not possible? I mean, Oregon's in the Big Ten.
That we could do a whole show on
what's not possible in college football.
Could do a whole show on that.
Like I said, I think in their back pocket, both conferences know, hey, let's bring the families together. I can do a couple more mob references. Bring the families together.
The 5 families?
No, but this is just the 2. The North, the South, we bring it together.
The 5 families of paper.
And we run our own championship. Could you imagine they run a 12-team playoff without the Big Ten and the SEC, and the SEC and the Big Ten go like, we're going to run our own 6-team playoff, and we're going to sanction it ourselves, and we're going to choose the venues, and hey, ESPN, would you like to put it on TV? You would. That'll be another $100 million. Now, I hope it doesn't get to that, but I do think that's where the Big Ten and like I said, the NFL. Hey, NBA's got Christmas Day. Do they? Yeah, we're gonna take it. It's just gonna be ours now.
I mean,
we're gonna put it on Netflix too, so everybody's gonna watch it. Sorry, it's a shame.
Yeah, I don't like this, Justin, because it's just one more reason that for lack of better terms, it's easy for anyone who's not a Beaver or Cougar to be like, this is so funny. And just kind of watch.
But it's going to be more than just the Beavs and the Cougs, because the Big 12 and the ACC, they're next to be left behind. If, in fact, the SEC and the Big 10 don't get what they want.
What about the best brands in those conferences? Because they're still...
It's cute and all, but they're not... SEC and the Big 10 can run this thing. They're in charge.
They're the captain now?
They are the captain now. Now, if they start feuding with one another... Then look out. Then chaos shall reign supreme. We got hour number 2. We're going to talk some Pete Rose. Chauncey Billups from yesterday's media day and Get Off My Lawn. Jam-packed second hour next, 620 Rip City Radio.
7 a.m. on a Tuesday. Brendan Slaughter with you for Rip City Mornings. A pair of games in the NFL last night saw Seattle fall to Detroit 42-29 with the Hawks suffering their first loss of the season. Elsewhere, Tennessee took down the injury-riddled Miami Dolphins 31-12. And over in Major League Baseball, Pete Rose has passed away at the age of 83. We'll be talking him coming up this hour. And then also this hour and next, we're going to be catching up with all of our interviews from Trailblazers Media Day, Chauncey Billups, Scoot Henderson, Joe Cronin. You got Rip City Mornings, hour 2.
Hey, welcome back to Rip City Mornings, everybody. Hopefully you are all having a fantastic Tuesday. 20 minutes from now, we're going to hear from Chauncey Billups. He was obviously at Media Day yesterday. And Chad and Dwight had a chance to sit down with the coach. And we'll play you that coming up in approximately 20 minutes. In the third hour of the big show, we will hear from Joe Cronin. We'll hear from Scoot Henderson. Baseball playoffs start today. My beloved Atlanta Braves took them all the way to game 162, but they did it. They made it into the postseason, and as Michael Scott said, I am ready to be hurt again.
I remember when you're like, they're not going to make it. They're not going to make it.
Have you ever heard of a thing called a defense mechanism, Brendan? Have you ever just told yourself it's not going to happen, so therefore your hopes do not get crushed because you have no hopes? That's where I was the month of September with my beloved Atlanta Braves. But they made it, and the Mets made it, and the Phillies made it, and the Padres made it.
You say defensive, Justin, almost every year of Oregon State football of my adult life. But yes, to your point.
It is. We do it all the time, too, because I'm like, no expectations. The Braves are injured, riddled with injuries. Acuna's out. Frieda's
Spencer
out. Strider's Chris Sale, who's been their best pitcher, he's got back spasms. He's not available for this series against the Padres. So they've just been riddled with injury. Ozzie Albies, who was back, but he was months. So I'm not going to turn this into a whole Braves thing, but it's like, yeah, so in my head, I go, no expectations. Boy, it's cool that they even made it. By about 6:15 later today, I'm going to be screaming at the TV. No team affects my emotions more than the Atlanta Braves. They make me happy, sad, mad,
More
everything.
than the Ducks?
More than the Ducks. More than the Ducks. The Ducks are my team, and I don't know what I will ever do if they do win a national title, but Braves have my heart. They just do. Speaking of baseball, though, baseball lost a legend, Pete Rose. Pete Carroll's just fine.
Yeah, Pete's still with us.
Pete Carroll's fine. That was a slip of the tongue there.
Yeah.
It wasn't even up on the screen. I don't know why I brought that up.
It's the only Pete we talk about.
Pete Carroll's fine. Oh, Myers. Pete Rose did pass away yesterday, and it leaves an interesting legacy. And I'm just going to tell you this from my perspective, because I am old enough. I am 45 years old. I remember when Pete Rose broke Ty Cobb's record. I remember it. I remember even more so when Pete Rose was on trial in 1989, because I remember watching ESPN as a 9-year-old going like, why are they showing this like the news? And then you learn about, well, Pete Rose bet on baseball, and this is a tax thing. And then after the trial happened, the famous engaged in activities that have stained the game, Bart Giamatti, and Pete Rose was banned for life. Then, from that moment on, I believe that was either late 1989 or early 1990, for the next 34 years, because that is to today, if any point in your sports talk show life, if you were like me and hosted a sports talk show, you felt a lull, you needed a topic, you needed something that would light the phone lines up. And I know I don't take phone calls, but I used to. And the reason why I don't take them anymore is because I used to. Anything that would engage in some sort of a you say, should Pete Rose be in the Hall of Fame? And it would pop up every single year. Every single year. Back when we all used to have cable, there was kind of this joke that somehow, somewhere, there was a Law and Order episode on cable somewhere. At all times of the day, I don't know what channel it was, but you could find.
Probably the new Blazers channel.
You never know.
Charge, Justin.
But you could find Law and Order on cable somewhere. I'm willing to bet somewhere, whether it's with a podcast or whether it's through a radio show or whatever, some sports talk thing for the last 35 years. If you listen close enough, you could hear them talking about should Pete Rose be in the Hall of Fame. So I will give you my thoughts. Not that any of you asked, but hey, it's my show. Two things can be true at the same time. This is one of the problems in debates. This is one of the problems in having opinions and takes, is we live in a world where we want it to be very black and white, and in fact, the world is many shades of gray. Two things can be true at the same time. First and foremost, Pete Rose deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. He does. He got more base hits than anybody else. Pete Rose deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. Full stop, period. Anybody that doesn't believe that, get off your high horse, stop your pearl clutching. Now, here's the second thing that is also true with regard to Pete Rose. The only reason Pete Rose is not in the Hall of Fame is because of Pete Rose. It's nobody else's fault. It's not Bart Giamatti's fault. It is not the Bud Selig's fault. It is not Rob Manfred's fault. It is not the commissioners afterwards. It is nobody's fault. The reason that Pete Rose is not in the Hall of Fame is because of Pete Rose. Two things can be true. I believe he should be in the Hall of Fame, but the only reason he is not is because of himself. He bet on baseball. Everyone knew that was against the rules. Everyone knew. And we'll get into why that's so important coming up in a moment. He bet on baseball. Then spent 25 years lying about it. Spent 25 years lying about it. To the point where he finally came clean. And how did he come clean? He sold a book. He wrote a book, My Prison Without Bars. Oh, poor Pete Rose. You put yourself in that position. You did what you knew was against the rules. Now, could we dive into, are the rules silly? I don't think so, but they're the rules. Some people find them silly. Are the rules hypocritical? Considering, I watched Pete Rose coverage yesterday on SportsCenter, and it's like the controversial bet on baseball. Boom. First commercial after that, ESPN bet. Are the rules hypocritical? Maybe, potentially. But the only person that kept Pete Rose out of Cooperstown was Pete Rose. That is a fact. He bet on baseball, which everyone knew was illegal, and then he lied about it for decades until he needed money, and so he sold a book. That is true. The other thing that is also true, in my opinion, is that Pete Rose deserves to be in the Hall of Fame, and he should have been in the Hall of Fame because you know what else was against the rules? Steroids. Steroids were against the rules. David Ortiz is in the Hall of Fame. David Ortiz was in the Mitchell Report. David Ortiz. Now, again, we could get into technicality and splitting hairs and all of that. And by the way, save me the off-the-field stuff. Like, this is about the rules of baseball. Yeah, are there people who committed crimes outside of the rules of baseball that are in the Hall of Fame? Bad people? Yeah. But you know what else? OJ got to keep his Heisman, okay? Reggie Bush lost his because he broke the rules of the sport. Now he got his Heisman back. But you see what I'm saying? Like, there's a difference there. OJ got to keep his Heisman. Well, and he sold it. So the idea that, oh, they're bad people, people who sold drugs, people who assaulted people, they're all in the Hall of Fame. Yeah, that's not the rules of baseball. You want to make an argument that there are steroid users in the Hall and that Pete Rose isn't? I'll hear you out on that argument. But the only reason Pete Rose is not in the Hall of Fame is because of Pete Rose. He bet on baseball, lied about it for decades. For decades. What would have happened if in 1991 Pete Rose would have sat down with Roy Firestone or Bob Costas or somebody and said, guys, yep, I did it. I bet on baseball. It was a stupid thing to do. I have a gambling problem. Mea culpa. Here I am. He might be in Cooperstown today, but he didn't. He lied about it for decades. Now, let's dive in real quick as to why the betting aspect of this is so important. 1919 Major League Baseball almost came apart. That's where this whole thing, I believe, starts. 1919, the Black Sox. You've seen Field of Dreams. You should see 8 Man Out because that's a better movie than Field of Dreams in terms of a baseball part of it because, Shoeless Joe Jackson actually hits left-handed in that movie. But the Chicago White Sox threw the World Series against Cincinnati Reds because gamblers, and they paid it off. That's how baseball got a commissioner in a guy named Kennesaw Mountain Landis, and they said, the original sin that we shall not ever in baseball go lenient on is gambling. It's not cheating. It's not spitballs. We didn't have performance-enhancing drugs back then, but eventually that will come around. None of it will be treated as serious as we treat gambling. Because in 1919, baseball was almost done. It was on the brink of collapse because of corruption and gambling and dirty money. Fast forward to the 70s and 80s, mostly in the 80s, and Pete Rose is there betting on baseball. And also, save me he only bet on his team to win. Okay, well, yeah, but what happens on the days that you don't have money on it? The integrity of the game was compromised, and whether he bet on his team only to win doesn't matter because he was the manager of the team. It's different if he was just a player. He was a manager. How many players at the bullpen did you use when you have money on the game versus when you don't have money on the game? Pete Rose. So, for some reason, Pete Carroll is trending, and I got to get that page off my face. Pete Rose will tell you, it makes no difference. I'm not buying that. Now, for those that are going to say, Justin, you can go into where do the Cincinnati Reds play? It's Great American Ballpark. Thank you. Great American Ballpark, and they've got a sports book in the Great American Ballpark. How do you square that argument? How can you say that they've got a casino there in Great American Ballpark, yet Pete Rose is banned for life for gambling in Cincinnati? Well, here's what else I'll say. They sell beer at the concession stands, right? At all the ballparks. They sell beer at the concession stands at all the ballparks in Major League Baseball. I don't think players can drink beer while they play. See, fans are different. Fans can gamble on the games, and fans can drink beer during the games, and fans can sit on their phones during the game. You are a player. You're an employee. It's different for you. Just like we have rules and regulations in what we do here. You want to know why? Because I just did a whole mandatory lesson on that. Brendan, you did too. We have rules that are different than the regular public. You can go out, you can make a deal and make your money, and if I do it, it's illegal. See, there's different rules for different roles. And when you're the manager of a baseball team, you don't get to bet on baseball. You just don't. The fans get to, because they're the fans. Same reason why they can drink beer during games, and you can't. Last thing I'll say will be the first thing I said. Pete Rose should be in the Hall of Fame. He got all his base hits. He should be in the Hall of Fame. He should be. But the only reason he's not is not because of anybody else. It's nobody else's fault. It's his. He put himself there, and he never got a chance to go to the podium at Cooperstown, and the only person to blame was Pete Rose. That being said, he should have been in there. All right. Moving forward, we have got head coach Chauncey Billups. He was obviously available yesterday at Media Day. Our friends Chad and Dwight had a chance to catch up with the coach. We'll hear from him next here on 620 Rip City Radio.
We're joined now by Trailblazers head coach Chauncey Billups. And, Coach, before we get to your team, we're blown away by the news of Dikembe Mutombo, who passed away today. The word came out from brain cancer, and this is someone that you knew very well. Just your reaction to losing such a great ambassador for a game and also someone that was a great humanitarian around the world.
Yeah, that's tough news this morning. God took a good one when he brought Dikembe home. Not many people have done more, for Africa and for the NBA than Dikembe. I grew up in Denver, obviously, so kind of watching him as he was drafted there and getting a chance to meet him and getting a chance to get to know him was a treat for me, So just that my heart is hurting for him and his family this morning. He has a huge family, This one's going to sting for a little while for sure.
Chauncey, I want to get into basketball with you a little bit, and tomorrow is the first practice.
Yeah.
I'm curious, how much preparation do you and your staff do prior to number one practice? What's all that like for you?
Yeah, we do a ton. I mean, obviously our guys have been in town since after Labor Day, working out and playing 5-on-5, and you can't have practice, but it's just good to have them out there, trying to build some chemistry. But for me and for the staff, you just try to kind of mix and match and think about different rotations, different guys out there, different things we could run, and we're just throwing stuff against the wall. And, we've been doing that for probably 6 weeks now, pretty much every day. And we've obviously added a few pieces to the team, and we try to keep developing our younger guys and keep challenging them. So it's a long process.
Yeah, you have some new coaches on your staff this year, and do they bring new ideas, new concepts to you, things maybe that you haven't done? And along the way, maybe you can tell us something about the new guys you've brought in.
Yeah, we do. I appreciate you giving me that opportunity. But, yeah, I did bring some new coaches onto the staff. One of the guys is Nate Bjorgren, who I hired as a consultant last year to just kind of be around and somebody that I can call and get ideas. And he'll stop in once a month, and I was able to bring him on full time this year. And he's just incredible. He can do both. He does both sides of the ball. But he was running the defense in Toronto when they won the championship a few years back with Nick Nurse, and he obviously had an opportunity there in Indiana that didn't go so well, but he's learned so much from that, and I'm just so happy he's making me such a better coach. He's really good. He challenges me, and I'm learning so much from him. And also another guy that I brought on, Coach Chris Fleming, who was number one assistant with the Bulls last year, ran the offense there, was a huge, huge, huge part of Kobe White's development. And as we know, we have, Scoot and Shaden and some really young guys here that even Anthony that still need a lot of development. And with me being a head coach, it's tough for me to spend every day with these guys because I got 15 of them. I got 18 of them that I got to, try to help. So Chris is going to be great. Chris is going to be helping with the offense. Obviously, we had a lot of things that were really bad last year. The offense was probably the worst. So it was important for me to get him and have him here too. And then I hired another guy behind the bench named Ronnie Burrell, who is a young coach in the league. He was a G League Coach of the Year a couple of years ago with Brooklyn, and just trying to find his way. I think he's going to be really good for us in terms of player development. And, I'm going to kind of have him working with the defensive side of the ball. So I'm excited. I think that this is the best staff that I've had, so I'm looking forward to it.
Coach, you mentioned the newcomers. Let's talk about a couple of those guys. Denny Avdia comes in a deal with the Wizards.
Yeah.
Really like his game. He can shoot, he can defend, he can run the floor. He's a playmaker. What do you think about what he's going to bring to your club?
I'm so excited for Denny to be coaching him. He does a lot of the things that I believe in. I mean, first and foremost, he's a competitor. He's competitive. You'll see him playing with a lot of fire out there. And you mentioned some of the skills that he has. I mean, he can really pass. Most people don't give him the credit for it. Man, watching him, he can really pass the ball. He got a great feel. for the game. He continues to improve his shooting. He can guard multiple positions. He's still young, as well. So I was really, really excited to be able to get him and add him to the fold. And yeah, you'll see him. He'll have a big year for us.
Chauncey, we didn't see Scoot in summer league, so I'll ask you: how was his summer? What did he do, and how has he progressed?
Yeah, Scoot he's gotten better. He spent a lot of time this summer just working on some of the things in his game and then some of the things with his body, that he needed some refining, which is the reason that Joe made the decision to not, let him play in summer league and to stay focused on what he was doing. So I thought he had a good summer in terms of that. And, he's been pretty good these last 3 weeks, just kind of getting out there playing. And so I'm looking forward to, to Scoot continuing his development.
One thing that caught my ear throughout the course of last season was your praise of him in regard to how he dealt with the ups and downs of his first season. Responsive to coaching, responsive to his teammates, didn't get himself too down, but was always willing to work and accept the criticism that came his way. How much do you think that's going to help him as he continues to move forward?
Well, I think Scoot's going to be playing with a chip on his shoulder that most guys aren't. It's just kind of who he is for one, but just struggling the way he did last year. I think when we look back years, in a few years and look back, he'll probably be honest and say he probably needed that. But it's also tough to go through. He's never been through that. He's never struggled at basketball, and let's be honest, he struggled. He struggled mightily last year, and it just happens. It is what it is, but it's that last year's over now. And you want to pick up the pieces and you want to try to just continue to move forward.
Okay, is this going to be fight of the year? We get to see Scoot and Shaden Sharp in the backcourt at the same time, healthy through a season.
Well, I hope so. I hope that they're healthy the whole time. Obviously they'll be out there playing a lot together. I'm not sure how it's going to start. I know one of the questions I'll be asking all day is, who's going to be starting and this and that. And, it's very simple to me. That's not my decision. It's really not. The players decide that. I'm throwing that ball up in training camp, and the players will answer all those questions, not me. I'm just going to be the messenger. I'm really excited about that this year, to be honest with you, that we have so much competition across the roster. We got a lot of competition, and the players will decide the minutes, the rotation, the starting units. It's not going to be me.
We're talking with Chauncey Billups here at Trailblazers Media Day, getting ready for a brand new season. Donovan Clingan, one thing that Dwight pointed out to me throughout the course of the Summer League was, it's nice to see a young big in late game situations wanting the ball, wanting to be a part of the action, and really engage. What were your thoughts on the way he performed down there?
Down where?
At Summer League.
At Summer League? Yeah, I thought DC got better every game. I did. I thought he got better every game. I thought before Summer League and even now that the speed of our game and the athleticism of our game might take him a second to figure out. And I thought he adjusted very quickly in Summer League, and he was a rim deterrent, and he protected our rim, which is what we know that he will do. And I've seen him get a little bit better over the summer as well. So he's another guy that I think, there's going to be some points of the season where it's like, dang, man, is that kid young, And then there's going to be some points where it's like, wow, he may be the best rim protector in the league already, That's just going to be a part of his development.
Now, everybody healthy. I saw the roster today. Everybody on that list healthy coming into camp. And I'm thinking especially Robert Williams. How is he?
Man, I just love Robert Williams, man. But he has worked so hard this summer, guys. He really has. And like I said, we've been in town and we've been playing, and Rob's back on the court playing. We was playing 4 days a week. He was giving us a couple days a week, and other days just continuing to work on his get himself back going. But Rob he's been back on the court, man.
That's great.
Oh man, that's great.
Hey, Coach, one thing that jumped out at me at your exit interview was just I don't want to put words in your mouth, but there seems to be like a tension between your desires as a head coach to want to win basketball games, and then obviously this process of development with the younger players on the roster. How do you work through that yourself to continue to press forward when it feels like there could be like two different directions in terms of where the front office wants to go with development, and of course you as a coach that wants to win games?
Well, I don't think there's any tension at all, and I understand exactly where we're at, and what we're doing, and I love the fact that we're developing. But one thing that'll never change with me is I'm a competitor, so I want to win. I play to win. I coach to win. I do everything in my life to win. But there is no tension and there's no misunderstanding. I understand exactly where we are. I think the world understands exactly where we are. And at the end of the day, I want to win, and I don't care if we have 5 All-Stars on our team or we have 0. I'm playing and coaching to win the game. And I think that's one of the reasons that the front office and Jody and Joe and them, they love that about me. Is no matter what's going on, they know where I'm headed. They would know what I want to do. So no, there's no tension at all.
All right, speaking of winning, what's a realistic expectation of the kind of season you're going to have, given the roster and all that?
Well, I can't obviously give you a wins, expectation. I mean, you look at the Western Conference right now. And I'm looking at, come on, guys. I'm looking at 12, 13 teams that are all playoff teams, and then we're, second youngest team in basketball. So I can't give you a wins total. For me, I want us to put a lot of pressure on teams, man. I want you got to work hard to beat the Trailblazers is what I want. And as we continue to build, this culture and what we're trying to do, like I want us putting – that's one thing, is pressure. That's my word for our team this year is pressure, because defensively I want to be applying it. And then offensively I want to play so fast and I want to play with so much pace that we put pressure on defenses all the time. And I want us to become one of the most connected groups, in the league. And to me, that's success. And whatever that means in wins, I don't know. But, I'm so happy about our team, and I'm so happy that we have competition across the board. And we just haven't had that, and I'm happy about that.
Speaking of putting pressure on teams, how do you envision using the quality bigs that you have, whether it be, Ayton or, Donovan Clingan or Robert Williams? Can you use 2 of those guys together at the same time? How do you think that might work?
Well, that's funny you say that, because, those nights when all of those guys are healthy, I'm going to be trying things. I'm going to be trying things. Y'all know I like to play a little zone.
Yeah.
I'll be trying it because I know that all of the 3 of those guys can really help me win, and having Robert Williams on the floor with anybody is beneficial, just because of his IQ and the way he knows how to play, the way he knows how to pass. And I just think having those guys around, in particular Rob, from his experience with Donovan, just having them around day to day, whether they're playing on the floor together or not, what Rob will teach him is going to speed up his development, So, yeah, you'll see me trying some things out and playing 2 bigs at a time. The Clevelands of the world and the Memphises of the world and even Denver's. There's a lot of teams that kind of play 2 bigs, and it just gives me some versatility to try those things.
Now, you've had a chance to watch all these guys play against each other. I was curious, you're sitting there watching. Anybody jump out at you and say, whoa, this guy's a better player than he was last year?
The guy that I would tell you that has really jumped out at me this fall has been Tumani, man. Oh. I've been so impressed with Tumani this fall. His shot is looking so much better, his balance. I'm trying to get him to make a little better. Just being able to play off of closeouts and dribble handoffs and make plays. Tua's gotten better. He's taken a little jump. He's gotten a lot better.
He's got some dog in him, doesn't he?
Oh, man, he's an animal, man. I love him. I love everything about him.
We had Ant in studio probably about a month ago as he was getting ready for an event. He looks like he's in a pretty good spot right now.
He is. I've had obviously a lot of talks with Ant over the summer and over the last couple of weeks, and he's been really balling as well. He's turned the gym up, but more than anything, just mentally and understanding where he's at, what he wants, as I tell him and everybody else, it's all on you. You know, you go get it, and you got it. It's up to you.
Well, another guy that balled out for you down the stretch last year was Ayton. How's he, and then how was the team barbecue over at his crib?
Oh, man. You know, I was proud of DA really for stepping up and having like the team function.
Yeah,
for
getting the guys together,
inviting everybody back to town, and you know, I thought it was a great kickoff event for us, and it was all his idea. Obviously, he has an incredible house, and we all enjoyed that. But DA's doing a good job. DA's doing a good job. He's been pushing his conditioning. I'm telling all our guys this year, you got to be in top shape, you know, because the only way we're going to be able to compete is to play fast. We don't have ISO guys that you could just throw it to them and they just get us a bucket every single time. We don't have those guys. So we have to play together. We got to play fast. We got to move the basketball. And they've all, you know, bought into that. But it requires you to be in tip-top shape to be able to play that way. And DA's close right now, but he's not quite there, you know. And we talk about that. So he's going to be fine. DA's going to be good.
One more question.
Okay.
You got that option you're hanging out for next year.
Uh-huh.
Any change at all in that?
No
Do
change.
you expect
no
any?
change in that. I'm not sure. I mean, to me, this is how I feel. You know, in our game right now, and with coaches, you know, you come in and they say, "Man, you coaching for your job," or "This is the last year," or to me, every year is like the last year for you because you can get let go in your first year of a 5-year deal. You can get let go in the second, the fifth. It doesn't matter. So for me, I just want to come in and do a good job. You know, I feel like I'm light years ahead of where I was 3 years ago when I was blessed enough to get this opportunity. I mean, I'd just been coaching for 1 year. You know, what I've learned and where I've come from that point, man, I feel so amazing about myself and where I'm at. And so I'm just happy about that, you know, and I just do the best job that I can. I've always felt like I'm the best person for this job. So we shall see.
By the way, I lived in Denver before I moved out here.
Oh, okay.
And, you know, from the moment I was young, Elway's always been at the top of the food chain for athletes. You know this.
Yes,
but
he is.
I swear you're pushing him because I get all my family, all they do is ask me, like, hey, how's Chauncey? How's Chauncey? You're a Rocky Mountain legend, dog.
Hey, man.
It's great. They love you there.
That's my town, man. That is my town. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Well, Coach, we appreciate the time. We look forward to seeing you work this year, and good luck with this new squad and the new pieces.
Hey, man, I appreciate you guys. I appreciate y'all's support. Obviously, you know, it's been a tough few years, you know, here. We've gone through a ton, and I know it's not easy to be out there, you know, tooting my horn and talking about the good things I've done when you look at our record, but I think you guys see it right. You know, I've changed a lot around here.
You mentioned it,
I
but
appreciate it.
Yeah,
but
do you feel like entering into camp like today compared to a few years ago? Is it like it's like a different ball game for you now?
It's night and day, man.
Yeah.
It really is. It's night and day. Just my preparation, what I'm looking for, what I'm trying to do, how I coach, how I teach. It's night and day. It really is. And I'm happy and thankful for that, you know.
It's awesome. We appreciate it, Coach.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
There you go. There's a coach. There's Chauncey Billups from Media Day yesterday with Chad and Dwight. Coming up in less than an hour, we'll hear from Joe Cronin. And just in about 20 minutes, we'll also hear from Scoot Henderson. Trailblazer season, hey, it's on the way. It's coming faster than you think. And they're ready to hit the hardwood. And you want to celebrate the 24-25 season tip-off. How about a free Fan Fest presented by Daimler Trucks North America? Experience Blazer fandom at the Moda Center with food, games, giveaways, and fun for everyone on Saturday, October the 5th at 2 p.m. Get your tickets for this free event at trailblazers.com/fanfest. We wrap up hour number 2 next, 620 Rip City Radio. Hey, don't forget this afternoon from 3 to 6, Chad and Dwight have Rip City Drive and a special little treat on Rip City Drive later on today. It is Trailblazer Ticket Tuesday. That's right. It is red hot and rolling. It is back, ladies and gentlemen. It is the month of October, which means Chad and Dwight each and every Tuesday will have a chance for you to win a pair of tickets to a Trailblazer home game. Make sure you listen every day, but especially on Tuesdays. That's later today for a chance to win Trailblazer Ticket Tuesday. Also, you can get your single game tickets right now at trailblazers.com. It's Trailblazer Ticket Tuesday. It's also Tuesday, which means we're all a little bit grumpy today. Whoa, Brendan's grumpy. He's drowning me out. It's like enough out of you. We talk about this all the time, right? It is scientifically proven that Tuesday is the grumpiest day of the week. We all hunkered down yesterday, and tomorrow is hump day. And Thursday and Friday, you're rolling into the weekend. Some of us even have a football game to watch on Friday, but Tuesdays, boy, they just get us. And some Tuesdays more than others. So we lean into it, and we get that negativity out with some grumpy old man takes, something I like to call Get Off My Lawn. Here we go. DMV, get right off my lawn. Yep, DMV can get right off my lawn. I mentioned it on the show yesterday. Thankfully, everyone was safe. Everyone walked away. Was in a traffic accident on Sunday. Not my fault. Not my fault. And I think, by the way, I think I might reiterate that a couple of times. Traffic accident, not my fault. And go through the whole process, give a statement to police, get checked out from fire and medical. Like, I'm fine. They're like, just check everything else out. And they're like, yep, you're fine. Wife was in the car with me. She was fine. I mentioned it yesterday. Thankfully, everybody walked away. Car, not so much. But I don't know if this is a new thing or, thankfully, knock on wood, I haven't been in a car accident in a long, long time. So did the whole thing, and police takes her statement, and they take insurance, and they do a whole incident report, and they find there was no criminal activity, so nobody got the silver bracelets, if you know what I'm talking about. But obviously, there's still work to be done. So I get all this paperwork, and then I did not know this. If you are involved in a traffic accident that is more than just a little ding here or there, you have to then go report it to the DMV. And the fine Sherwood PD officer who came up and was like, yep, make sure you do it within 72 hours. If you don't, they can suspend your license. And I'm like, well, I've never heard of that before. So, yeah, just learn, you got to report a traffic accident to the DMV. And they're like, you can do it online. Great. Because, it's 2024. It's actually, we're on the back end of 2024. We are just a couple of months away from 2025. I'm sure a year that back in the 80s, science fiction writers were like, oh boy, what a crazy time in 2025. That's how far along we are. Go on the DMV website. And again, my wife, who is an attorney who specializes in filling out legal documents, is like, this is the most ridiculous, confusing thing I've ever seen. And I go, all right. You're just stressed out. Let me do it. So then I get on there and I go like, nope. This is the 7 pages. 7 pages. All to turn over to the DMV when it wasn't even my fault. It wasn't even my fault. Now, then, when they say, oh, yeah, you can fill it out online, do they mean that it's an online form and that you could no, what they mean is you can go online, download the PDF, fill it out on the PDF, print it out, sign it, scan it, and then email that PDF. That's not filling it out online, folks. How nuts is it that in 2024 it actually would be faster to go to the DMV, grab a number, and sit with all the 16 and 17-year-olds who are nervous as hell trying to take their driver's test. Did I mention it wasn't my fault? Did I mention I was just minding my own business, stopped at a stoplight when somebody else ran into me? I understand that, with certain parts of national and regional and local government, that it is just because of red tape and other things that there is just maybe a little bit slower moving of technology. If we have to fill out an incident report through the DMV where we have all the information already collected by police officers, how do I got to spend 2 days, which I have been 2 days filling out a form? The DMV has always been an easy target, because it's one of those things where I don't know what the incentive would be to streamline it, because we all need to drive, so you have to go there, and you have to renew your license, and you have to do all this, but goodness gracious, how on earth do we not, the amount of stuff the fact that I could go on Amazon with my card already plugged into my Amazon app, order goods from all over the country and have it show up on my porch by 5 o'clock. Yet I can't fill out a form online for the DMV. How is this even possible? How is this even happening? Did I mention it wasn't my fault? So why am I the one having to fill out the paperwork anyways? Can't I just get a not your fault code and just go, hey, and plug it in, and I can sit on my phone or on my TV that is connected to the internet that pops up a QR code, and then I could take a picture of said QR code, and then it can realize through the information that's already in my phone where I live, subscriptions that I have, and boom, magically pop up a football game on my TV, all within a matter of seconds. We have the technology to be able to do that. But Brendan, we don't have the technology to fill out an incident report online. And I bought a house 4 years ago. 4 years ago, I bought a house. Signed everything
Lucky
online.
man.
Thank you. You know what I say? Hit your wagon to a shooting star. But I bought a house 4 years ago. I signed everything online. Can you e-sign these? Can you doc your signature? No, sir. You need to print these out. You need to sign your name. Then you need to rescan them, and then you can email them. Also, it's also really nice filling out an incident report about a traffic accident and then have them say, you could also drop them off at the DMV. You know what happens when you get in a traffic accident? You don't have a car. So, to the DMV and the red tape bureaucracy that I am dealing with for the last 2 days, and more importantly, my wife is dealing with, I say, get right off my lawn. Scoot Henderson, Joe Cronin from Media Day. We'll hear from them in hour number 3 next, 620 Rip City Radio.
8 a.m. on a Tuesday. Brendan Slaughter with you for Rip City Mornings. A pair of games in the NFL last night saw Seattle fall to Detroit 42-29 with the Hawks suffering their first loss of the year. Tennessee, meanwhile, took down Miami 31-12 in the nightcap of the two Monday night games. And MLB legend Pete Rose passes away at the age of 83. Coming up on the big show, we've already heard from Portland Trailblazer head coach Chauncey Billups. We're also going to hear from Scoot Henderson from Media Day. We're also going to hear from Joe Cronin. So lots more Blazers, and also got the RCM mailbag. Final hour coming up on RCM.
Hey, welcome back to Rip City Mornings, everybody. Again, hopefully you are all having a fantastic Tuesday. If you are new to the program, we appreciate it. Thanks for coming by. If you like what you hear, hey, maybe tell somebody. Maybe tell a friend. Maybe tell a stranger. We don't care. And if you are a returning customer, we appreciate you hanging out with us each and every day. Or maybe it's just a couple of days a week. Maybe it's just one day a week. Whatever chance you have to join us, we appreciate it because we are stacking the bricks and building the foundation of this program each and every day. And it's because of all of you. So we appreciate you guys hanging out with us. A quick update, quick bit of news, because I don't know what this means from a viability standpoint, but according to Kyle Bonagura of ESPN, and now been confirmed by multiple sources, the Zags are joining the Pac-12 conference. Now, they don't have a football team.
Can we build a kennel for the football team?
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know if they even have a football field out there in Spokane, but they do have a pretty doggone good basketball program.
You're bringing the 5'4" guy home, Mark Few.
Let's go.
I'll take that.
Mark Few, finally a Pac-12 coach.
I got to look for the positives here, Justin, because as you know, behind the scenes, been a little testy with this news this morning, and I'm a little peeved that UTEP is going to be in the Mountain West, and I think Gonzaga is a great ad from a hoops perspective.
I mean, the newly rebuilt Pac-12 is a really good basketball conference. When you look at at San Diego State and Utah State, I mean, San Diego State, were they in the championship game a couple of years ago? Or Final Four, at least?
Final Four, yeah. Them and Florida Atlantic and that weird.
Gonzaga was been in multiple Final Fours and multiple championship games. Yeah, it's a pretty good basketball conference. Now, need one more team to play some football.
Yeah, and you keep running out of options, man. I mean, where are they going to go at this point? Are they going to back in and take Sac State and take an FCS team? I mean, you're going to go get Rice? I mean, your options are just so limited now, Justin.
So we may dive into that more on the big show tomorrow as the news continues to come in. But it was Trailblazer Media Day yesterday, and Scoot Henderson, heading into now year 2 here with the Blazers, sat down with Chad and Dwight for Media Day yesterday. Here's Scoot.
All right, Rip City Drive with Dwight and Chad live from Trailblazer Media Day, and we're joined now by Trailblazers point guard Scoot Henderson, who came in singing Christmas songs, man. It's September. What's going on?
Man, they got me in here doing anything, I guess.
Well, it's great to see you. Talk about your off season, because your exit interview, you talked about the process and putting in the work to continue to get better and get ready for year 2. So how's that process been for you during the summertime?
It's been going great. Just a lot of work, a lot of getting my mechanics right, my base right, make sure I'm getting stronger through my hips, and more prevention than anything.
Okay, what about the basketball side? What did you do for that? We didn't see in Summer League. I assume you were doing other things. You played a lot, I bet. What did you do this summer?
Man, just work, a lot of work. Whether it was me getting on the court, figuring out my base with my shot, and fixing up a little things like make sure I'm always 90 degrees in my arms when I'm shooting and stuff like that, and make sure I'm got the same body control while I'm driving to the paint, watching a lot of film, really a lot, you know what I mean?
One thing that Coach mentioned when we talked to him this morning was, for you, you've never really had to go through struggle in your basketball career. Everything's come pretty easy. Then all of a sudden you're a rookie in the NBA, and, you go through the normal ups and downs that a rookie has. So what was that like for you to go through that type of struggle and come out on the other side of it?
I feel like I've been through struggle in the G League. My first year, it wasn't all that great or whatever, and obviously in any basketball season there's going to be up and down. So and like going through that time, I just remember reading the book and just saying that things pass over, and you know you can't do anything but you know go on to the next day and get better from what you did, and just learn from all the mistakes you make. So.
Chauncey told us that the way your team is going to win is playing fast.
Yep.
And that has to be music to your ears because you play fast,
For
right?
sure. That's all we've been doing since we've been here. Last couple of weeks we've just been playing, and I've just been trying to pick up the pace really. You know, and that's on both sides of the ball. You know, picking up 94, make sure I'm in shape to do both.
With your offensive game, how do you think things have come along during the summertime in terms of your catch and shoot threes, working off the bounce, and then you know that mid-range game, getting that floater, you know, and other finishing opportunities that you're going to have off the bounce?
For sure. Just me and my trainer Jordan Coleman. We've been working a lot this off season, and you'll see. I can show you better than I can tell you anything. So, I think I've just been getting more comfortable, getting a lot of reps this summer, and you know, like you were saying, missing out on summer league or whatever. I was able to get a lot of reps that I wouldn't have gotten if I was playing that time. So.
Okay, now I hope you've been working on your lob because you got Klingon now, you
sure,
got Robert Williams.
That's all we've been doing.
Huh? There's got to be some lob opportunities.
I threw this one lob in practice the other day to Rob. Man, he went up and got it. He went up and got it.
That's what he does, right?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on Donovan Klingon?
DC, man, he's a paint protector. He's amazing in the paint. He can get one side of the paint and one step from the other and go block a shot. You know, but I'm always on his head just to go get those, to go get open blocks or get open rebounds and stuff like that, and run the floor. He's a great runner. He runs like a freaking moose, a deer. Man, he's fast. He gets up the floor. He likes to run as well. He likes to look for other players, and he can shoot as well. So I love DC's game, and I can't wait to get started.
How are you physically? Everything okay? You put in a long summer and all, and
sure.
You're healthy going into camp?
Yes, sir. I'm feeling great right now. Body feels amazing. So. Just got it, like I said, just more prevention stuff than anything.
Yeah, and you did a lot of that. Chauncey mentioned that there was a lot of work put in just to make sure that you're preventing injury.
Yes, sir. Got to.
How hard is that grind, first year NBA with 82 games?
Man, it's different for sure. You know, you don't go through things like that, and it's not even really the playing; it's the other things that come with it. That's the traveling and stuff like that. The going from one arena to getting on a plane to go to the next arena the next day in a few hours. So. Things like that I think I've got used to, and it's only been a year, so I can't really speak too much about it, but I'm still just navigating through that process with my great support system and the Trailblazers and the Trailblazers fans as well. So.
You know, I'm wondering, the one thing that impressed me the most last year was the way Coach and your teammates talked about your response to adversity. You know, coachable, always moving on to the next game and doing everything you can to improve, and I'm wondering, who is it that kind of instilled that into you at a younger age to continue to press forward and listen to those around you who can help you with your game?
I feel like my parents did a great job with you know, getting on me as well, but letting me know that it's tomorrow to get better. And then, you know, like I said, I think I taught myself that aspect of just on to the next. And I had a hard time growing up just getting on to the next day and not dwelling on the past and dwelling on the last missed shot or whatever it was. But like the 2 Ignite season where I was a pro, and you know, it just taught me how to be a pro at a young age, and I was able to not get upset at myself, to give myself some grace and know that I'm still young, but you know, not trying to use that as an excuse, but knowing that I have things to learn. So just being patient with myself and you know, thankful. So
I traveled on the road with NBA teams for years. I want to ask you this question: is it going to be great this year not to be the rook? You know, it seems like when you're a rookie, that part of it is kind of tough, right?
Yeah. I mean, you know, I think the team we had last year, we were all pretty young, so I was just trying to figure out the spot on the team really, and set that stone and have my voice heard. And this year we had one rook, so it's gonna be a little tougher on him, but I'm gonna be there helping him. So
okay.
We're talking with Scoot Henderson here on Trailblazer Media Day. You and a lot of the young guys had, you know, ample opportunity to play last year. We asked Coach. He said Tamani Kamara jumps out at him as someone that's really put in a lot of work on his game. Who's jumped out at you at the practice facility as someone that, you know, has taken that next step?
I feel like everybody has. Everybody this summer has. I could see it from how they approach the game now, and knowing that we didn't like how we ended last season, and that we want to do better for our fans, and not just for us, but for our fans, and you know, everybody that's supporting us. So I think a few of the guys, you know, I mean, DA's made a lot of adjustments in his offense and what we need compared to what he wants to do. Like Coach said, Tumani, obviously Jabari, Shea always going to do his thing, and always going to do his thing. They're very special players, and Rob, I just want to say that he's putting a lot of work just to get healthy and even stronger. So thankful that we have Rob on our side.
Yeah, now you've had a chance to see Rob. You didn't get much of him last year, obviously, but do you have a new appreciation for what he does?
Man, I was always appreciative of his game, and I knew Rob before we even got to play with each other last year, and just the fact that we were able to get a little bump in this off season works wonders for us as a group.
Scoot, the word that comes up with Denny Avia the most is versatility.
Yep.
What are you seeing from him and one of the new additions?
Man, Denny is great as well. He's both sides of the ball, two-way guy for sure. He can guard. He's very strong. He can shoot it. Like you said, like very versatile, man. Denny's gonna be great for us this year.
What do you expect with the backcourt rotation? A lot of guys there with you and Ant and Shade.
I feel like we'll have a good kind of setup. I think with 3 special guards and even more. At the wing spots to just fill in and spread the floor. Like we got Denny, we got JG and Shea. Like, man, tough group.
What have you worked the hardest on in the offseason, offense or defense?
Both. I feel like defense is nothing but hard and a want to and a passion thing. So, but I think just getting stronger in my hip rotation and stuff like that, it makes me slide quicker, things like that, more dynamic, make me more dynamic and stronger. But offensively, my base of the shot, my flow of the shot, making sure it feels good, making sure it feels all in one.
How much is it doing for you to have that year under your belt? Don't you think you learned a lot at both ends of the floor last year?
Man, yes. Just coming into the season, probably not fouling as much as I was last year.
Yeah, that'd be good.
So make sure I can stay in the game, on the defensive side and offensive side, just making sure knowing how to read players now and knowing how to just do certain things around the offense, get guys open, drive and kick just to get JG a shot, drive and kick just to get Ann a shot, Shea a shot, whatever, get DA a lob, Rob a lob, DC a lob, so Denny an open shot, like things like that just go through my head every day now. So
how much do you think being in year 2 with the game slowing down will help in the turnover department?
I think it'll help a lot. I think the turnovers were just a thing to just getting to know my teammates and me always just playing freely and fast and just knowing have to slow down sometimes and read and things like that, and knowing that I'm great at that. I think that's where I was struggling. Just I wasn't knowing that I didn't know that how great I was at making open shots with my teammates. And now that I know that, nobody can stop me from getting to the basket or getting an open shot or getting my teammate an open shot even. It's gonna do wonders for us.
You guys are obviously not going to be favored to win a lot of games, and you're in a really tough conference.
Yeah.
What's your expectation for how good this team could be?
My expectation is for us to be really good, really great team in the Western Conference, and I'm keeping receipts on everybody that don't think that. So.
All right, Scoot Henderson, Trailblazers point guard. It's Trailblazer Media Day as we get ready for a brand new season. Scoot, we look forward to year number 2 with you, my friend,
Yes,
and thank you so much for your time.
I appreciate y'all.
There you go. There's the point guard, Scoot Henderson, with Chad and Dwight as we get ready for Trailblazers 24-25 season. And not only is the season upcoming, but how about this? $1,000. Cash for the 6th man. That's you. You're the 6th man, and you may win some cash. $1,000. Make sure you listen for the keywords each and every weekday from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. on the 15th. That's very close. For your chance to win $1,000 13 times a day. All the details at ripcityradio.com. We'll hear from Joe Cronin coming up next here on 620 Rip City Radio. Obviously, a huge sports day. Monday Night Football last night, Big 12-style shootout between the Lions and the Seahawks. There's a lot of different things about that game that are interesting to me. The analytics of the going for two, again, maybe this is going to be like the three-pointers in the NBA where it didn't make sense until it did make sense. But I don't understand why if there's 13 minutes to go, you just got to within a score and you potentially put yourself again behind the 8 ball when you've got a kicker that can just put it right through the uprights and put you down 7. But hey, analytics, that's how math works. So the Seahawks take their first loss of the season as Jared Goff, who a lot of people were wondering, like, did he get fat and happy? Because remember, he got paid in the offseason, and they're like, did he get fat and happy? And it's like, no, he went 18 for 18. No incomplete passes for Jared Goff. Turns out not too shabby on a Monday night. So we saw Monday Night Football. Obviously, we talked about it at the beginning of hour number 2, the passing of Pete Rose, which once again sparks the huge debate about the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame. And as we have been doing the show, is this massive realignment news? It feels big, but because we are such a football-centric world in the world of sports, but Gonzaga, who has been a dominant powerhouse in college basketball for really the last 20 years. I think it was, 99 is when they made the run to the Elite Eight. They beat Florida, and Gonzaga goes on a 20-year run under Mark Few. Well, they are heading to the Pac-12 in 2026. Pac-12 now
following the money.
Really good basketball conference.
Dynamic, actually. One might say one of the best. At least you got something, I guess.
Okay, hot take. Is the new Pac-12 a better basketball conference than the old Pac-12?
Yes. With more Final Fours in recent memory. In recent memory. UCLA, I get that. That conversation
got a lot of banners. Obviously, Oregon made the Final Four in 2017.
Yeah, Oregon was good.
Arizona hasn't made a Final Four since 2020. Or
Washington
since
State's
2001.
coming off an NCAA appearance.
They made a couple, but I think the last time the Pac-12 has made a Final Four was 2017, right?
No, you remember UCLA went. They went the year that the Beavers fell in the Elite Eight. They made it with Johnny Juzang, and that team was so much fun to watch. Oh man, that 2021 March Madness.
But new Pac-12 has got San Diego State and Gonzaga, who are both really good. And
you said Boise's good, and Utah State.
Well, the Mountain West has been a solid basketball conference, and then you essentially have moved the best basketball teams from the Mountain West to the new Pac-12, and then now you add Gonzaga. So it's interesting. They don't have a football team. They're going to get a full share financially. We'll see how that works out. They might be just banking on whatever media rights deal they have using the basketball angle because they do have a premier basketball conference. So
what's just your, real quick, in like 3-4 words, like what's just your gut reaction to this right away? Mine is to be determined.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see what other chips or beats. Gonzaga doesn't play football, so it's cool, it's awesome, but you still need an 8th. So for me, it's TBD. Cool, but TBD. What's your gut reaction?
Yeah, I think the idea of going basketball is risky. And I go back to what I said last week. I
agree.
Which it felt like
to an extent
this was the beginning of a plan without a full conclusion of a plan in rebuilding this conference. Because I don't know, Gonzaga might have been in the plans the whole time, but they don't play football, and you still have to get to 8, and now you're down to Sac State. Also,
Rice.
Well,
Rice
is still out there. And as you mentioned, does this re-engage Memphis? I don't think so. I don't know how basketball moves the needle enough, but maybe it gets a couple extra dollars. So more on this, obviously, on tomorrow's big show, because yesterday was Media Day down in the Blazers practice facilities. Or no, they were at Memorial yesterday, I think, for Media Day.
That's interesting.
And Chad and Dwight were down there. We heard from head coach Chauncey Billups. Let's hear from the GM, the president of basketball operations, Joe Cronin, with Chad and Dwight yesterday at Media Day.
All right, Rip City Drive. Dwight and Chad, we're live here at Trailblazer Media Day, and what a pleasure it is to welcome Trailblazers General Manager Joe Cronin to the show. I think this is the first time he's been on the program. But, Joe, it's great to see you, man. You look good, like you're enjoying the summertime a little bit.
Thank you guys for having me. It's good seeing you.
Easier summer this year after all the different things that were going down last year, I would imagine.
Yep, a little quieter summer this year than last. This time last year I was exhausted going into media day. This summer has been the draft was really heavy for us. As far as we got the Denny trade done that afternoon and the Donovan Clingan draft pick that night. But it was all condensed into one day, and the rest of the summer we've just been working on a lot of stuff internally, doing a lot of player development, and then, of course, we're at a stage with our roster where we've got a lot of work still to do. We have to get a lot better still. So, but we've been more opportunistic, just trying to, stay active in the market, but, knowing that we don't have to be in a huge rush here to make a big move because we like what we have right now. We want to see it grow a little bit, and we can get back into it as the season goes along.
Take us back to draft night real quick. It seemed like a major win at the time for the franchise, but did you expect Clingan to be there with an opportunity to select him? How did that play out as you were going through the evening?
Mm-hmm. I didn't. I thought, one of two things would happen. I thought someone would take him ahead of us, just one of the teams that had those picks already, or I thought somebody would trade up and get him. His camp told us early on, hey, there's a slight chance he could get to you. But I always thought somebody would jump up ahead of us. And it's something we were doing as well, as exploring all those move-up options in case we felt like we needed to. And just felt really fortunate that it broke the way it did.
You've had a chance to watch these guys out at the PF for several weeks now. What have you seen that you like, Joe?
Mm-hmm. The number one thing I've seen is the competitiveness of the group. It's something we're really going to, it's something we've been trying to build and something that we've continually stressed, but something that we're really going to see play out this year is the competitiveness of this group and how these guys are going to have to compete for the roles that they earn. Like, Chauncey's going into this with no preconceived notions. Like, it doesn't matter where we drafted you or how much we pay you, you're going to earn everything you get, and Chauncey will also say things like, we don't make that decision, you do. This has got to play out in camp. And, we've had all of our guys here for the last 3 weeks basically playing a ton of 5-on-5 every day. And consistently, that's what we've seen is just guys really going at it, playing hard, trying to make their marks in this league. And for us, that's exciting, like seeing that competitive drive and spirit.
For Scoot Henderson, important offseason for him after a challenging, rookie year with ups and downs that you see from rookies. But what do you make of the work that he's put in during the course of the summer and the progress in his game?
Mm-hmm. It's one thing, you really study throughout the draft process and going into the draft before you make these selections is what type of worker are they? How are they wired? What's their mentality? And you hope your intel's correct, but you never really know until you get a guy. And, being with Scoot for over a year now, it's probably the thing that gives me the most comfort and the most positivity about him is he's just wired to succeed. The way he works, the way he studies the game, the way he's so passionate about it. So it's been fun to watch that progress, and see him be so committed to his game. He knew coming off of last season that he had a lot of work to do, and he knows today that he continues to have a lot of work that he needs to do. But we're continuing to see him make steps, This year is going to be interesting for him. He's obviously really capable, and I think we saw a lot of those capabilities the last 2-3 months of the season. We want to see that more consistently. And at the same time, we also know, okay, this is still a 20-year-old point guard who's trying to learn to navigate. There's going to be some lapses in judgment or, struggles making reads or inconsistencies shooting the ball or missed defensive assignments. Like, we've got to, learn to, accept those, but yet fix them as quickly as possible. We're obviously really excited about him, but also know that, hey, he's a work in progress. He's 20.
Okay, now what about Shaden Sharp? What are you looking to see from him?
Yeah. A lot of the same stuff. I think Shaden, we're fortunate we at least got an extra year from him. Granted, it was only 30-some games, but we at least got to see him put together a pretty good run of basketball where, being a lead guy, being high usage, putting up decent efficiency, being a pretty good two-way player. For Shaden is just take these steps. It's how can we increase your usage and your efficiency at the same time? Can we, maximize your shot selection? Can we get you to better spaces on the floor? Can we use you in the open floor more and as a cutter? Can you provide consistent, impactful defense? So it's for Shaden, it's not showing these flashes or not just putting up 25 and 5. It's can you play winning basketball and move that bottom line?
So you see him as a high usage guy. That's his future.
I think so. We've seen enough in his ball skills and feel and shot creation to be able to point to in a direction that we think he's going to be one that is going to need the ball and can go get it. Our key balance right now, especially in his early years, is putting him in some positions to succeed and trying to maintain his efficiency. So we'll tell him things like, hey, in a closeout situation, we need you to fire that three. We don't want you to get off the ball there. We don't want you to put it down. You just got to let it go. Just working on those things. He's still figuring out how to play.
Hey, Joe, last year I remember Chauncey Billups towards the end of the season, he would joke about just getting tired of hearing from the trainers and the injury report game to game because so many guys were out of the lineup and you dealt with so many injuries. I know what that's like as a coach and not knowing who you're going to have available night to night, but for you and your staff, how difficult is that in terms of not getting access to some of the usable data that you want to be able to know what you have in certain players and different combinations of guys on the floor?
Mm-hmm. That was probably the most difficult thing about last season. We didn't have high expectations necessarily from a one-loss standpoint, but we hope to walk away with at least a pretty good amount of clarity as to what this roster is. Both from an individual level, like where are these guys headed, which guys can be a long-term part of this, and from a team level, like what systems are we putting in place, like, style of play-wise that are, going to be like drivers for us winning basketball games in the future. And coming out of last season, I just had a lot of question marks. And to your point about the data, like we just didn't get a whole lot of it, from individuals or from rotations. So one thing I would love to get this year is more clarity, and gain more focus on, okay, this is where each individual is headed and this is where systemically, this is succeeding for us.
Curious too, everybody's talking about the next draft and how good it's going to be, and there's obviously a lot of guys available who can help NBA teams. Is it possible even to get a draft pick back in a deal with anybody now, knowing how good that class is?
Mm-hmm. It definitely makes it more complicated. These NBA teams have gotten so good with their, high school scouting and, amateur scouting before these guys get to college or, into the high-level overseas programs that in a given year teams have done a good job of knowing, okay, hey, this is a really good draft, hey, this is a subpar draft, and then acting accordingly. So I don't think it's ever impossible to get into a draft like this one, but you might have to find the right team, a team that, is going to value the immediate help over the long-term help. Like you got to be, this is where I always challenge me and my staff to be active. We've got to be out there making calls. We got to stay on the phone with these teams, because we need to be there if they choose to make a pivot or like a win now move. We've got to be ready.
How excited are you about Denny Avdia and his versatility? And then you also get a guy on such a team-friendly contract. I mean, it's like the best of both worlds, but your thoughts on that deal and what he's going to bring?
Mm-hmm. Was thrilled to get that one done. It's something we were trying to do, at the trade deadline the previous February. We're really active trying to get talks with Washington to a place where they would actually listen, but they just weren't there yet. So when talks regenerated back in May and June, was excited, and then it was just, okay, I knew he had a huge market and I knew a lot of teams were interested. It was getting an offer together that was, very strong, that put us in the pole position. And it took that whole draft week to get that done. I thought like Monday, Tuesday, I was worried, okay, we don't have it. But by Thursday, we started getting real momentum, and we're just really excited once that got done. And for all those reasons you just said, Denny's, he's a really good player. He's got a lot of growth left in his game. He brings so many things that we don't do. He's got his versatility, handle, pass, shoot, guard, passion, spirit, all these things that we're hoping to find more of. And Danny checks so many of those boxes, along with, like you said, the good contract and the certainty that he's going to be here a long time.
Had some rough season lately, Joe, and I'm curious whether or not you think that has impacted your young players.
Mm-hmm.
You talked about the energy you're seeing at the practice facility.
Mm-hmm.
You think they're okay moving forward now and ready to kind of shake that a little bit?
Mm-hmm. It's a great question, and it's definitely something I'm mindful of and paying close attention to, because I worry about that as well, that, does sustained losing negatively impact a player long term? And I think, the answer is yes, it can. The part that gives me comfort and the part where I'm really confident that we're good at is knowing that our environment is strong for these guys. And I think we've seen, like, the way they respond to Chauncey, say like last year was a good example where a lot of injuries, couple of really bad losses, but not a real positive season. But I thought they always played hard, and that's the thing I really point to is, do they come out and compete every night? And as I see them do that, and I see their spirit, and I know their competitive drive, I'm pretty comfortable knowing that as soon as we're ready to take that step, they're going to be right there with it, and they're not going to bring those bad habits with them. But I do think, like, you got to have the right environment. If you don't, you could lose them.
I did want to ask you one question before you go. I know you're not on the business side, but the announcement that the Trailblazers are going to go direct to air on K2 and increase your reach by about 4 times.
Mm-hmm.
Fans are thrilled because they're hitting me up all the time. What do you think about that deal, getting it done, and now everyone having access across the state to Trailblazer games?
Yeah, ecstatic. I mean, it's such a cool thing for Trailblazer fans, and it's something like, how do you even sum it up? Like, they get to, from the ground floor, join this journey with us. Every person that's not able to go to a game, every person that may have lost touch with the team over the years. Now we have a great avenue for them to watch this group and to hopefully fall in love with this group.
Sad news today about the death of Dikembe Mutombo, and I'm thinking that probably with your background and all in Colorado, that
Yep.
that he was a special player to you.
Special, special player. Condolences to his family and friends. I got to see Dikembe, right when he was drafted. I lived in Denver at the time. Saw the Nuggets play a bunch, his first 4 or 5 years with the team, and everything you think about Dikembe and see and remember, it was so true. And in that community at that time, like, he was so impactful for that team. And of course, we all remember the upset against Seattle where they, I think they were the 8 seed, right? And Seattle was the 1 seed.
First time it had ever happened. I think.
With Dikembe laying on the floor with the ball above his head celebrating. But I mean, he was just, a special player in our league, a special player for that city. A special person for the game of basketball and for the world as a whole. I mean, the work that he did, just, you can't say I can't, commend him enough for the work he's done for, people in Africa and America and all these different countries. He's just one of the great ones.
All right, the Trailblazers getting ready to kick off a brand new season, 24-25. Joe Cronin here on the Rip City Drive. Hey, Joe, thanks for your time. It's great to catch up, and it's great to see you refreshed and ready for a new season, but good luck this year.
Thank you guys very much.
There you go. There's Joe Cronin, General Manager, President of Basketball Operations of your Portland Trailblazers. So, again, a big thanks to everybody yesterday for all the hard work they put in at Media Day. We'll have more stuff throughout the week as well, and make sure you check back in this afternoon with Chad and Dwight for a couple of reasons. One, they're good guys, and they do a fun show. They may have more for Media Day as well. And how about this? Maybe win yourself a pair of Blazer tickets, because the Trailblazer Ticket Tuesday is back. That's right, on Rip City Drive, each and every Tuesday from 3 to 6, your chance to win a pair of tickets to a Trailblazer home game. It is Trailblazer Ticket Tuesday. Also, go to trailblazers.com for single game tickets. The RCM mailbag is next on 620 Rip City Radio. All right, time to wrap up the big show and get you ready to attack your Tuesday if you are not already doing so. And we do that the same way each and every day. It's called the RCM mailbag. It is random questions, any subject, any topic. Nothing is off limits, and we will not, I repeat, will not duck the tough questions. Let's fire up the mailbag on a Tuesday.
All right, Justin. Well, I teased you with where this mailbag was going to go yesterday, but I was just minding my own business yesterday in the afternoon. Had a nice little tootle over to the Sherwood Safeway, getting a few odds and ends.
I was near there.
I know you were. I'm like, I know you were. I'm going to think about you every time I go through that intersection for at least a minute. But again, thankfully you're here and don't have an arm in a sling or anything.
Yeah, I'm good.
So it could be much worse. But it sounds like your DMV problems. You got some work ahead of you. got
7 pages. 7. I'm keeping the important part away from the YouTube camera.
Those on YouTube can see it.
7 pages.
Looks like homework, Justin. Almost.
It's
like you're back in school, man. He gives me the side eye.
Oh my goodness.
Anywho, so I'm just minding my business, going through, got my little hand cart with a few things I need, some snacks, a few drinks, and I'm like, okay, let's go back towards the back, do a quick run, see if they have any of my coffee creamer, a few other things. And oh boy, Justin, I arrive at the fridge end cap. And they have eggnog.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
And it was September 30th.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Your boy bought that eggnog.
See, you were the part of the problem.
Took it home, had a full glass of that eggnog, and
did you then sleep for 18 hours?
I mean, you know I'm a fan of sleep, but
See,
my gosh, it was so stinking delicious. Like,
you're part of the problem. You are. You're
when
part
you
of the
haven't had it in 12 months, I'm just like, I looked over at, I'm like, okay, I've had it. Yeah, I'm like, good. Like, I'm a 1.
How big of a glass? Okay, when you say a tall glass, like...
Oh, like that big.
Like 8 ounces?
12, probably. 12 ounces. Probably
so much eggnog.
Yeah, I mean, the thing itself...
Do you drink, like, regular milk?
No.
On a regular... No?
No.
But the eggnog.
So it's...
You're just like,
It's and I think I've told you this before, great aunt makes homemade eggnog at Christmas sometime.
I know, I got the recipe.
Yeah, oh yeah.
You sent it to me last year.
Yeah, sorry.
Obviously.
So you should know my eggnog.
Yeah, but I put eggnog in, well, I put a good amount of bourbon in there. But it's like 4 to 5 ounces.
We may have put a little bit of Jack Daniels in there.
And 4 to 5 ounces. The thought of having 12 ounces of eggnog.
I mean, maybe it was more like 10, but it was a glass like that, give or take.
That's a lot.
And I come home, I'm sitting there and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna have some eggnog, and it was almost like I forgot. It's like a dessert drink. It is so stinking good, and I crossed off a new bucket list thing. I had never had eggnog in the month of September. I now have had eggnog in the month of September.
See, you're the reason why Costco keeps putting out Christmas trees around Labor Day. Like, you were part of the problem, but that's okay.
No, I admit it. I admit it. It was not I went to self-checkout, so I would not be judged for having the eggnog yesterday.
Well, I mean, they wouldn't put it out if people weren't buying it because eggnog does have a shelf life. So let's dive into this. We got 4 minutes. Of the things that are synonymous with holidays, what should be a year-round thing? All right, so we got eggnog at Christmas, turkey and stuffing at Thanksgiving.
I was going to say stuffing.
What else would be Easter ham? Like, because most people don't have a big, like, honey-baked ham, like, outside of Easter, right?
Mac and potato salad on a non-summer barbecue.
Yeah, okay.
I never see mac and potato salad on a winter
It's very
potluck.
good point. Yeah, you show up for, like...
or pasta salad. Very summery-esque food.
Corn dogs outside of a state fair.
Oh, I could crush out 2 or 3 of those right now, man. I'm hungry. I'm feeling...
You can eat 3 corn dogs right now?
2. Okay, I'll say 2. I could crush 2 corn dogs at this moment. Justin, you have a Cliff Bar in the morning.
1. Yeah, 1 Cliff Bar.
And it keeps you going. Like, I get in here, and as soon as I get done and do my stuff and leave a little bit after you, I go straight to food because your boy is starving. So about this point in the morning, I'm like, yeah, I can start to crush some food.
So if you could be like food czar, like you get a point to say, Brendan, you are the food czar.
Sure.
One of those things, whether it is potato salad all year round, not just in the summer, like a ham, like a, you know what I mean, like a honey baked ham, anytime other than Easter. Eggnog all year round, turkey and stuffing all year round, not just at Thanksgiving. Corn dogs outside of a state fair. And by the way, I know some of you eat corn dogs not outside of a state fair, and I'm not judging. I'm actually jealous. I love corn dogs. What should be appointed year-long? Because how did like
Ooh,
there are just certain things that are year-long foods that I'm a little bit surprised, but yet for whatever, like stuffing. How is stuffing not a year-long food? I think it used to be, but it's not anymore.
Yeah, so I'm going to go with stuffing.
Like I go to the store, there's stuffing there in July.
Right.
I'm not buying it, but somebody is, right?
So again, Justin will laugh at Brendan over here. So I'm not going to make this about eggnog as much as I wanted it to be. Again, it was cool, and I'm like, okay, I had my glass. If you didn't give me another glass until next year, I'd be fine. But man, I was dying to try it, man. No, I would go stuffing, Justin, because as I have mentioned to you a couple times, not often, but every couple months, we'll get a whole chicken from Costco.
Yeah, buddy.
And we'll do the full spread. We'll do baked beans, we'll do stuffing, we'll throw some green beans.
Love it.
So we kind of break that rule already.
That's good. Good. I appreciate that.
But
it should be.
Yeah, I mean, stuffing hits any time of the year, man. Like, I've had stuffing in April. You're like, okay, this is fine.
It used to be a thing, like, when you would have like a big family meal. Now, our family, we had different things going on, but like you go to a friend's house and they would have, like instead of like we had mashed potatoes a lot growing up. Like we had mashed potatoes were a big side. Whereas like you would go across the street to the Shockies and they would have stuffing. And at first I was like, I don't know what that is because it's different. And you think, oh, it's different. It must be gross. And then you have it and you're like, this is the most delicious thing I've ever had in my entire life. Why don't we have this I was also surprised, like, school lunch. See, that's where I learned how to eat stuff. Because when I was in school, you would go to school lunch. You did not get to say no because I was in the 80s and in a small town. And they were like, no, you have to eat it. You can't go to recess unless you eat it. Imagine.
You didn't have the veggie option available to you?
No, sir.
Oh,
there were no vegetarians in McGovern Elementary in 1989. They did not exist.
The vegan choice wasn't available either? The kosher choice?
Like, I think we've got some shredded lettuce over there. You might want to gnaw on that. Yeah, I mean, we did not have a vegan option.
It's just, it's options, right? So, like, to Justin's point.
Also, nobody was allergic to anything.
Like, I remember in school, like, there'd be times I'm like, I don't like that on the menu. But because it was like, you could have this, or there were 3 options. Out of those 3, you'd pick one.
But I think that's why I got to be more adventurous in my food is because
you're a better eater, man.
You had to. You went to school.
Or you went hungry.
Or you didn't go to recess.
And now
you had to sit there.
Now we don't want kids to go hungry, so we just acquiesce.
Could you even imagine? I'm a vegetarian. That's cute and all. Eat that wiener wrap. Wiener wraps were good, too. All right, that's going to do it for the big show. Thanks to Chad and Dwight for all their work down at Media Day yesterday. Joe Cronin, Chauncey Billups, Scoot Henderson. More throughout the week, more on Rip City Drive. We're back tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. here on 620 Rip City Radio.